What's up with it, y'all? Y'all know who it is. It's your boy Brian Key, the baby, and BKS3 is the lifestyle. Hey man, so I'm coming to y'all with another video. So this one, of course, as you see, it's titled Destined for Greatness but Hated. A lot of us have dreams, have ambitions. You know, God has given us something to work towards, but they are people just like the enemy, Satan himself, who goes to and fro like a roaring lion, seeking who he may devour. So that is our number one hater, especially when we are operating in the things of God and doing the things that God has given us to do. The enemy's plan is to get us to forfeit our destiny, to get us to give up, to get us to do things his way. But there are also people who are in the flesh, people we see, people we love, people we know, and people we don't, who try to set us up for failure. Whether they're jealous, whether they hate us, for whatever reason, these people exist. They're all throughout the Bible. Jesus was betrayed, hated by Judas, who sold him to the Romans, or sold him out to the Romans for silver. The same thing happened to Joseph, and that is the one story that really sticks out to me. And he was hated by his brothers. His brothers hated him. First, because he was loved by his dad more than they were, I'm assuming. And the word says it's because his dad had him at an old age. So he was the youngest. The dad was old when he had him. All right. But also, Joseph was a dreamer. If y'all want to go read it for yourself, you can start in Genesis, I believe, 37. Joseph was a dreamer. And so the word talks about how his brothers hated him even more because he had dreams, told it to them, told them to the dad. They was all like, who are you to have this dream? We're going to bow down to you. Woo, woo, woo. So it got so bad, the brothers plotted to kill him. Thank God they didn't kill him. They just ended up selling him into slavery. They set a trap for him. You know, if you go back and read it, you'll understand what I'm saying. You'll know what I'm talking about. But they tried to set a trap for him. They plotted to kill him. And at the end of the day, they just end up selling him off into slavery. Told their dad that he was killed by a wild animal. So this is where the coat comes into play. Joseph in the coat of many colors. This coat that the dad had made for him, gave a gift to the son, gave a gift to Joseph. The dad was named Jacob, if y'all didn't know. But this coat was gave to him by his dad. It was given to Joseph by his dad. They dipped it in blood, took it back to the dad, and was like, oh, he was killed, woo, woo. But they really sold him into slavery. So you got people in your life who would want to do you harm, want to see you fail, want to see you die if it could possibly happen because they hate you. For whatever reason. Some people have no reason. Some people may just not like you because you liked by everybody else. Whatever the case may be. But Joseph was sold into slavery. That's how much his brothers hated him. They didn't know how life would turn out for him or whatever. But despite being sold into slavery, my God is a keeper. He kept him. Everything that Joseph was doing, even in slavery, it elevated him to places of power. Even though he still was going through stuff, people still lied on him. He ended up getting put in prison. In prison, he ended up being over all the people in prison, like the warden. You know what I'm saying? Then Pharaoh heard about him. He ended up started working for Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh made him a ruler of Egypt. In the dream that Joseph told his brothers and his father end up coming true, to where they had, at the end of the day, they were in need, and it came full circle, and they had to do exactly what that dream was. And you read, Joseph was kind of being petty when the dream came true. You know, that's between him and God. But at the end of the day, despite what the enemy set out for you, God still has a plan for you. Just because you have hang-ups and foul-ups in your life, and it's due to other people. It may be due to other people hating you. You may mess up on your own. That's fine. God still see you through that. But you may be innocent as all get out, and the enemy uses people to try to get you to feel like you're worthless. The enemy hates you. That's his whole goal. So he uses other people who may be close to you to hate on you, to try to set traps for you, to try to even kill you spiritually. Maybe physically too. But that's where being overlooked comes into play. That insecurity. The enemy hates you so much, he wants you to be insecure about yourself and not know that God sees you as valuable. The enemy wants you to feel like you're overlooked. He does it to me all the time. It's because the enemy hates you. He wants you to feel like nobody cares about you. Nobody sees, what you go through, the hard work you put in, whatever it is, so you can give up and forfeit. I'm saying it again, and I probably said it in all the other videos. He wants you to forfeit the destiny that God has for you in your life. But you have to understand, despite feeling insecure, despite feeling overlooked, despite being hated by people around you and the enemy himself, God still has a purpose and a plan for your life. And no matter what you face and no matter what you come in contact with, God will see you through that. What the enemy meant for bad, God will turn it around for your good. I grew up, some of you may know my story, I grew up in a situation where I didn't feel like God was there. I didn't feel like God cared about me. But as time went on, I started seeing how God, even in the midst of, in my life, the valley of the shadow of death, though I was walking in the dark places of my life, God showed me that even through those hard times, he was still there. Even though I felt like an outcast, I was still chosen by him. The one thing that keeps coming to my mind, man, is there is a price to greatness. There's a price that you have to pay in order to be great. I don't care whether you are an entrepreneur, you're going to fail. You're going to go through things that only make you stronger. Just because you fail here or you had a hang up here does not mean that it's over. Just because this person may not like you or things may not be going right in your life at this point in time does not mean that you're not destined for greatness. Does not mean that God has canceled the promise and the destiny that he has for your life. Sometimes we go through things to get us to a place to equip us to be ready for when our time actually comes. So like in the last video, when I was talking about being overlooked, God said there is a time, his time, as long as we humble ourselves under his power, under the mighty hand of God, in due time, he will lift us in honor. So there's a time for everything under the sun. There's a time. So despite being hated, you're still destined for greatness. Despite feeling insecure, you're still destined for greatness. Despite being overlooked, you are destined for greatness. And that's something I had to realize myself. So again, if you want to go back and look up the story of Joseph and look up what he'd been through and look up, his whole story, you can go back. Feel free. I encourage you to go read it because it's a lot to read, but it will help you in your faith, in your belief in yourself and in God. Because again, what the enemy meant for evil, meant for bad, to destroy you, to get you to give up, God will turn it for your good. And we're going to get more into that as I give more of my testimony and the things that I went through as a child, even as an adult, even till today, that I've noticed that those things that were meant to take me out spiritually and maybe even physically, God turned it and used it as fuel to the fire that he put in me to do the things that he's called me to do. Do not give up on yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, I don't care how much other people may believe in you. I don't care how much somebody else may pray for you. You have to understand, and you have to own, and you have to have the faith the size of a mustard seed to know that despite what's going on in your life right now, and despite what you see, and despite what you face, that you are destined for greatness, that you are a child of God, that you are chosen, that you are royal, that you are holy. Holy only means set aside for God's use. It doesn't mean perfect, because in and of ourselves, we cannot do it. You can't be perfect. We living in this flesh, and as long as we live in this, you gonna mess up. You gonna have others who try to mess you up, who try to trip you up. But despite all of that, again, shout out to Prophet Darrell Kenner. Everything that God has said about you, it has to happen, and it's happening now. So whatever you may be feeling, I pray that you have an encounter with God and that you deepen your relationship with God. Me too. That you deepen your relationship with God to know without a shadow of a doubt that you are destined for greatness. Receive it. Believe it. And you can achieve it. But man, that's all I got for y'all, man. I'm really trying not to be long on these videos. I love y'all. God loves you. And again, remember, you are chosen, you are royal, you are holy, and you are God's. It is what it is. Y'all know what's up. Until the next time, stay tuned, subscribe. I love y'all. Turn on notifications. All that good stuff. I'm out of here.